Now this wouldn't be a Snare Saturday series unless we included the most recorded snare drum ever. And since vintage drums are all the rage right now, why not show a drum that's from the late 60s? What's going on, everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the Ludwig 5X14 Supraphonic, also known as the LM400 snare drum. The Supraphonic has a reputation of being one of the most recorded snare drums in history, so it makes sense that I would include it in this Snare Saturday series. Now, before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. Just like Ludwig drums, the Supraphonic has a solid reputation. And there's a pretty in-depth history that dates all the way back to the 1950s. Now, because of this, the shells were made in various configurations depending on the era. Some Supraphonics, also known as Super Ludwigs, were brass shells that were chrome plated, and then were transitioned over to aluminum shells, which were also chrome plated. Some of them were welded together, others were spun. So if you are interested in the history of the Supraphonic, maybe to determine where your snare drum falls in the lineage, the Drum History podcast had Uli Salazar on for an episode, and they covered the history of the Supraphonic going all the way back to the 1950s up to present day. So let's talk about this drum in particular. I ended up grabbing this when I saw it on Guitar Center's used website during the pandemic, and it was only $200. Now, if you've ever perused Guitar Center's used website, most of the time it is one photo of the drum, and you have to kind of just guess and hope for the best. So when I saw this drum, I noticed that it was in one of those Ludwig suitcase snare cases, and the drum looked like it was sitting in somebody's basement or attic. So I had the drum shipped to my local Guitar Center. I picked it up, I immediately cleaned it off, and noticed that it was in fantastic shape. Just like all the other Supraphonics, this is a 10-lug drum, and it has the baseball bat internal muffle. Now, the date stamp on the inside isn't in the greatest shape, but from what I can see, it's looking like it was made in October of 1968. That would mean this drum is a chrome over aluminum snare drum. To also confirm this, usually if it was a brass shell, which would make it a Super Ludwig, there would be a B stamp somewhere on the shell, which there isn't. Additionally, the chrome plating is pitting in a few areas, which also was very common for the chrome plated over aluminum shells. So besides new heads and snare wires, this drum is original. It's the original baseball bat muffle, it's the original throw off and butt plate. I even left the original tension rods on. So just like every other Snare Saturday video, I'm gonna put this drum through a few different tunings so you can hear the versatility of it. Because this drum does have that internal muffle as well, as I'm within each tuning, I will start out with it disengaged and then engage it so you can hear the difference that it makes. So enough of me talking, let's dive into the playing. So you could hear from the playing example, even though this is a 5x14 shell, the construction of a Supraphonic allows it to be very versatile depending on how you tune it. Now, I would love to get your feedback on what you think of this particular LM400, so feel free to leave it in the comment section below, letting me know. Also, if you have any additional questions, you can leave that in the comment section below as well, and I'll try my best to answer them. Also, if you enjoyed this video and want to see some of the earlier Snare Saturday videos, I put a link to the playlist in the description below. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. That way it makes it a little bit easier for others to find it. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on the Ludwig 5x14 LM400 snare drum. And until next time, see you later.